So there's been a lot of chatter on social media about Tyrese Maxey's shot attempts, shooting a franchise record 86 shots through the first 3 games of the season. Against the Pacers, he only had 7 points in the first half, but ended up scoring 38 of the team's 57 points in the second half, including overtime. So what do you guys make of Tyrese Maxey's start to the season?
So AI's never done that? Shot more than that?
That's the first thing I thought. That's the first thing I thought.
Apparently not. It's crazy.
I mean, because AI could do it, so easily. You know what I'm saying? No, he's done it in a 3-game stretch. I'm just saying for the start of the season, that kind of when you sent that and I read it, that was like kind of shocked me. I wouldn't have thought that. But he is shooting a lot.
863 games
a lot. I mean, he's shooting the ball a lot. What's his percentage? I don't have it right in front of me.
30.
And what's his 3-point percentage?
3-point, I think, is 26, 24, and his field goal, I think, is like in the 30s, like 36, I think.
Is that high?
So his field goal percentage is 34.9%. His 3-point percentage is 23.7%.
24, yeah.
34 and 23?
Yeah.
And how many free throws a game? I know he had a lot of free throws that last game.
10, about 10 free throws a game.
So you're shooting what? 28 times a game and 10 free throws. Wow. I guess somebody done told him we got to play like that for us to win or something, because it's I don't have a problem with I think he has the energy and the motor to take a lot of shots. But I do feel his shot selection is the reason why his percentage is so low. I mean, he is taking some questionable shots that he had some flashes of that in the past, but not so much in 1 game or 2 games in the first 3 games. Like he's had a lot of shots that I felt were questionable. Even shots that he made, I thought were questionable. I mean, he just made them. But I firmly believe that his percentage is low because of the shot selection. Because he can make shots, but that shot selection has to improve. And I believe when he does that, he makes that correction, that his percentage will go up. My concern is, how does he keep that same aggressiveness when Paul and Joel come back without taking the same amount of attempts? That's going to be an interesting balance of learning how and picking your spots of when to be aggressive and how to be aggressive, but still include those guys getting the amount of shots and touches that we all know they're going to get. But for right now, I mean, I remember, was it 1 or 2 episodes ago, you asked me who would probably be the second guy, and Kelly's been that guy. They've both taken a good, decent amount of shots. I do have an additional concern with the shots they're taking. And that is, and I think it's part of the reason why we get stagnant sometimes, a lot of their shots seems to be just no offense, one-on-one, just go one-on-one, just my turn, you like my turn ball. kind of looks like that. It kind of looks like it's just one-on-one and no kind of set. I know that's probably not the case. Can't say I pay attention to calls and stuff like that when I'm watching. I'm just watching the game, but it does come off as you're kind of playing one-on-one, which goes into some of the shot selection. I mean, maybe you guys see it differently, but that's kind of how I see it.
Well, every team. Well, actually, you know what? Let me see Toronto. 11. So we actually the starters out assisted the Toronto starters, which is surprising given, our problems. But against Indiana, again, we reverted back to we had 8 assists in the starters. I mean, Nembhard had 8 assists by himself. So starters are out assisting us by a lot besides the Toronto game, but they were also missing their starting point guard. So that makes sense too, right? But even that game, I think they had 11 and we had 4, 8, 12, 14, or no, 12. So even the one game we did out of going back to the AI thing, I looked it up. 84 AI's season high first 3 games of shot attempts. 84.
Yeah.
The 2001.
Right. That's why I said I knew the AI was somewhere. I knew it was close. For him, I mean that's not 30 shots a game. That's why I know he had some stretches where he was putting up 30 plus, but it takes a lot of energy to do that, man. In the NBA, trust me on that.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to beat out AI's 10-game record.
No,
that's not going to happen for the first 10 games.
He don't have the energy to do that, man. Trust me.
He was shooting 30, 35, 30, 24, 31, 26, 29, 30. He was getting them up. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. And that's the season that he missed the first 5 games.
Yeah. So it was season after the finals, right?
Yeah, so he came ramped, ready to go after missing those 5 games. So, yeah.
Or the season after that. I know him and Aaron both had an off-season procedure. Everybody, and I did too. Like all 3 of us did, I believe.
Yeah.
And you all ramped up the first 2 weeks of the season. I was making a joke about the.
We were ramping up. Yeah. I mean, AI. Like if AI didn't play, man, it wasn't no ramping up for him. Like they told him ramp up. We like, man, just take me out of practice. I'm gonna play the games.
Yeah, and that's back when they had like 5 games in a week too. You know what I mean? Like from the 30th to the 8th, that was 5 games. So,
we never had a week like they're having right now. 1 game in a week, and from Sunday to Saturday, only 1 game. Never had that. Seasons was, because we started later than we started 2 weeks later than they start right now. At least 2 weeks to an additional 4 days on top of that 2 weeks.
I mean, I'm looking at one right now from December 1st to the 8th, 6 games. I mean, that's a grind, dude. That's a grind. Like,
so we had 4 games. I think you would have like 4 games in 5 nights. You maybe had 2 or 3 of those, maybe 4.
Yeah,
3 games December in 4 nights. You had 3 or 4 of those. Yeah,
2 back-to-backs in 5 days.
Yes, and probably 2 of them on the road.
Actually, because
we never played back-to-back home games.
In that 8-game stretch, you had 3 back-to-backs. You had 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th. It was 1 day off, 2 days on.
It's too. I'm telling you guys. When I'm telling you guys about the schedule, I'm like, guys, it's night and day. They couldn't play in that schedule.
Guys' legs would fall off doing that now.
You couldn't. That's what I'm saying. You couldn't. It's totally different with the scheduling.
That's crazy.
And that's what I'm saying. So I guarantee you. But the interesting thing now is they allow them to play home games back to back. We didn't play home games back to back. So if it was home games, if it was back to backs, only one of them was at home. So the majority of your back to backs were on the road. So you got to travel on top of that.
So this stretch is brutal. So that December 1st to December 8th, you had December 1st to 2nd. It was a back-to-back flying. So one game was at Chicago. The next game was back in Philly on a back-to-back. And then the 4th and 5th, they were on the road. Granted, it was Sacramento, Gold State, but still, you're traveling on a back-to-back. I don't care how long it is. It's brutal. And then the next back-to-back, you had 1 day of rest. And then the 7th to 8th, you went from San Antonio to Memphis on a back-to-back. So that's 2 straight back-to-back travels. So 4 straight travel back-to-back games. That's crazy.
6 games in 8 days and what? 5 of them on the road?
Yeah. You played you played 5 games in I'm sorry. Yeah, that one too. Yeah. Yeah, so at Chicago, back to Philly. And then man, that's crazy, man. That's a grind.
So this is why I like the schedule. This is why the schedule changed, because it was stuff like this. So, but whether guys were available, like if guys were out, they were really injured. They were out. So that's why I said the schedule it's made for like right now. That's why you have a lot of older guys be like, man, I would never miss a game just to miss it based on how we played. AI got more criticism for talking about practice than guys get for missing games.
That's just crazy, man.
And I believe somebody, maybe Gilbert Arenas or somebody, said that same exact thing. But that's a true fact. That's a true statement. I think my son sent me. Yeah, Gilbert did say that. My son sent me that, or a Gilbert show or something. But yeah, that's a real fact.
It's common too. I see another one. Christmas, the 26th, back to back. Then 28th and 29th, back to back on travel. All travel.
Clippers. We played the Lakers and the Clippers. I remember that. We played the Lakers and the Clippers back to back on Christmas Day and the day after.
And then you traveled Denver, Utah, back to back.
And back then, Christmas Day was only 1 or 2 games. It wasn't like all the games like they do right now. So we were like the only team playing. So the Clippers didn't even play that day. So we played the Lakers, and then we had to play the Clippers, who didn't play the day before.
Yeah, that's
and that crazy. That was the Disney on Ice trip. So we probably didn't get back home until early January.
Such a grind.
Yeah, that's brutal, man. Which makes him shooting 35 shots a game even more impressive. Man, as far as his arms just didn't need ice.
That's what I said. You guys don't have the energy to do what AI did like that, man.
No. Yeah. As far as Maxey's usage, I mean, it's sky high, obviously, but I think for now it's just necessary that he does it. He leads league in minutes. He leads league in shots per game. I'd like to see his assists go up. I want to see his teammates.
I would like to see it go up, but I don't know how.
Well, the whole one-on-one thing's not helping because he's shooting 30 shots.
Saying, the way that he's getting, that's what I'm saying. The way that he's getting his shots, he's not really creating for anybody else. He's creating for him, and they're not. He's not getting him off of a structure where he's coming off and he sets a screen, he come off, catch, shoot, or you kind of make the defense go from side to side and shift where they have to help, and you can just catch it, penetrate, they help, you pass it. Like, it's no kind of flow like that. His shots are basically, I'm taking you. So it's pick and roll, ISO. He's not really creating shots for anybody else. So that's why when other guys get shots, they're pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So just look at a lot of Kelly shots. He's doing the same thing. He's not catching and shooting like he was last year on certain times. He's actually catching and playmaking and trying to attack the basket. Same with Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon may be the one guy that's kind of getting a little more catch and shoot. And that's because he has the deep range, so he can spot up a little deeper than most guys. Caleb Martin isn't really, he's really playing off the bounce as well. So that's sort of how we're playing. They may feel that's an advantage that we have with different matchups, attacking them off the dribble. And I don't mind getting into the paint. I just think that we just got to be a little more selective, with the shot selection.
Yeah. I mean, his percentage is bad. It's 24%. I feel like, or 3-point percentage. I feel like his percentages will go up. I just feel like, I feel like it'll even out. He's been statistically, categorically a high percentage shooter, but he was a lot more efficient and didn't shoot as many shots. He's jacking them up right now. But even his free throws are low. His free throw is 6% lower than it was last year. So it's just not, when it's not going in, it's not going in on a lot of these. But think about it though. If his percentage,
what is his hold up. What is his and I don't want to judge like early in his career. So let's just say maybe last year and the year before when he became a primary starter. Like, what is his percentages? Like, what is shooting percentages, 3-point percentage?
You mean pretty much when Embiid's out?
Or no, just in general. Like, what is he? How does he average out? I just want to see the difference between that and
last year. He shot 20 shots a game compared to 28 this year. It's a 45%.
No, I'm talking about the percentages, not percentages. Yeah, percentages.
45% last year, 35 this year. So 10 percentage points difference. 3-point percent.
That is a huge gap.
Yeah,
that's a huge gap. That's actually worse, bigger gap than I thought.
Well, his 3 points
45% from
3 points worse. Three point goes from 37 to 24. That's a big gap. And he's shooting almost 13 threes a game.
It is. It's early, so it's early in the season, and maybe he will average out to sort of who he is as a player based on his career.
Yeah.
But that's a huge gap. That's a huge gap for the amount of shots that he's taking. Usually when guys shoot a little more, their percentages kind of creep up a little higher.
Like if you go to the previous,
he has that low percentage shooting 86 shots.
The previous year he shot 48% from 2 or 48% overall, and then if you compare it to last year 45, he shot 5 more times a game. So his percentage went down 3 points with 5 more shots, right? That's more of like a normal. That's more normal, right?
Yeah.
3% less, still pretty good. To go up 5 shots, only lose 3%. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's taking 8, almost 9 more shots a game this year. I guess by that rate, it should go down like 5%. So, yeah, 10% is a lot. He should be around 40 at the worst, I feel right now. But you gave him 40% from 2 and a higher percentage from 3. He'd be averaging like 38 a game right now. So
I'm saying like 40% overall, like from 2, and you. Hopefully, that's not a trend for the season.
Yeah,
I know guys, have started out shooting lower, but he's too good of a shooter. Like he almost, even like when he misses, it looks like he's gonna make it. Like all the shots feel to me like they're going in.
I know
when he's shooting it. Sometimes I can kind of see the flight of the ball and I can tell it's off. But for the most part, like he's more of the I can't believe he made that than he missed it. So, but I think it started to me the first game against Milwaukee when he came out and he took like 4 shots in the first 2 minutes. Like, if you remember the first game, he just shot it and shot it and shot it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how he rolling this year.
Yeah, those are bad luck too. I feel like a lot of those should have gone and they rimmed out.
Yeah, but they weren't really great shots. They probably should have went in, but you could tell that he was it was a point of emphasis. So I don't know if the point of emphasis is him or is them.
Maybe both.
But it's different. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Almost 5 more threes a game.
I don't know how you turn it off or turn it down when those guys come back. I don't know how he does it. That will be very interesting to me.
Well, the ball's not in his hands. He's going to have to turn off, isn't it? He's just not going to have as much use.
He has the ball more than they do, but he has the ball more than they do.
His usage will go down. Though. You just want to have.
You never know. Sometimes guys, we've seen situations where, guys feel like it's my time now. I'm not saying that that's the case, but we've seen it before.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah.
That was his most 3-pointers ever attempted in a game. 17 threes was the most he's ever attempted in a game. The game against the Pacers. Second most field goal attempts he's ever attempted in a game before. The other one was last year when we played the Spurs and went to double overtime. He had 41 shot attempts that game. And the Pacers game came close to that with 32 shot attempts. So